One of the things that we have to contend with a lot, and I'm sure it's probably the same thing at your company, is there are certain things that causes kind of chaos throughout your day, and one of those things is email. How many times have you seen people with their PDA, or they're at their workstation and they're constantly checking email? Now, let's think back to the day, if you can remember, if you're old enough to remember, when there was no such thing as email. We didn't really use it. We spent our day on the phone. And today, now we're battling both. Now we're getting the phone calls, and we're contending with voicemail, plus we're contending with email. And it's just absolutely nuts to sit there and check your email constantly. It's a habit easy to get into, but listen, in the old days, I sent you a letter in the mail. You got it, you took your time to read it and then respond back to it, and I was patient about it. But I think with email, folks now are the mindset that it should be instantaneous. If they send you an email, they expect an immediate response. Well, it doesn't work that way, and it will make you much less productive to do so. My advice to anybody is to set certain times of the day and devote that for cleaning out your email. All right? 3-4 times a day max should be sufficient to go over that. But it's just more than checking and responding to your email. You need to learn how to manage email. And there are some very good tools built into Outlook, Apple Mail, other mail clients, by using what's called filters and and using rules. And you kind of know that, if you get an email from the boss, that should be a priority email to be read. So when those emails come in, you can set a rule to flag those emails as high priority. For a certain company or domain, those high priority. Another thing I recommend, I call it folder mania. And I'm guilty as charged. Guilty as charged in folder mania. For the longest time, I thought it was a smart thing to do by having a folder set up for email from staff members, and I had another folder with subfolders within it for all my vendors, and then I had a customer folder, and I had an orders folder. Well, you get the idea. Lots and lots of folders. And you know what that does? That makes it more of a chore to try to organize my email. Because now I got to either create all these rules for the mail to go into the folders, and then, of course, I forget about them. It's just not a good way of doing things. So recently, I just took a fresh approach to it. I said, you know what? Most of the email I get does not require an immediate response. So what I do now, personally, I got rid of almost all my folders. Excuse me. And I just created a folder called Filed. All right. And if I think that email is worth keeping and they may need to revisit that email within the next 3 months or so, I'll move it to Filed. Now, I want to let you know that our email, all of our ingoing and outgoing email, is archived to an SQL database. Therefore, there is no reason I really need to retain a bunch of email. I was just reading a question from someone they were a technician. They were actually helping somebody with a Mac. They were also hooked up with Exchange with the Macintosh. Anyhow, their email client had over 80,000 email messages in their inbox. 80,000. Now that's just absolutely, nuts to do something like that. Mail archiving software is cheap, and if you need to find an email, you can just go in there and search by keywords, whatever, find the email and restore it back to your inbox. But you're just letting stuff pile up into your Exchange account. The Exchange information stores, your email information stores grow. Or you're looking at massive PST files or archiving files. It's really too much to contend with. It takes up too much of your time. So learning how to file your email, very, very important. Look, get as much distraction out of your life as you can. If you're signed up to a bunch of different, email lists, if they're not necessary to your mission, to your job, your work, get rid of them. Unsubscribe. You don't need that stuff coming in. Sometimes it's quicker to respond to somebody if they need something instant. Rather than doing that, just you start maybe standardizing your business on a particular instant messaging application. Sometimes that can be a lot quicker than coping with email, and it fills up the inbox with less stuff. Use the telephone. Still a very effective communication tool, and believe me, I've got I don't know if I did a video on this now. I don't remember. I don't think I have. Yeah, no, I didn't do a video, but I did a blog about it, about the right way to send email. Yes, I did do a video. I'm getting old. I did do a video about the right way to do email. And there was actually a study done that said that an email is probably one of the poorest forms of communication to getting your point across. So if it's something, that you need to get the message really understood, use the telephone rather than email. Use the flag feature that most email clients have to prioritize email. And the low priority stuff, deal with it later, or get rid of it or file it away. But there's no reason to have thousands and thousands of email in your inbox in multiple folders and all that. Of course, your mileage may vary. I'm not saying that my way is perfect, but it does make life a lot better, and I think it makes me more productive in doing that sort of thing.